So sitting here today with fantastic financial advisor, Cody Martin. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. I got a couple questions for you. You mind?
Let's go.
All right. So why did you get into the financial advisory world?
Interesting story. So I was a former professional golfer chasing my lifelong dream of following in my dad's footsteps, making a life out of playing on the PGA Tour. And after 4 years of giving that everything I had, I decided I wanted to pursue something different. And one of the reasons for doing that was I wanted to start a family. And I was married at the time and sat down with my wife and I said, I can keep doing this, but we're going to put everything else on hold. And I don't think I want to do that. And so I started exploring other careers with mentors, with friends. And the one career that I felt most aligned with was something in the financial advising space. But I had no connections in that world. I didn't have any opportunities at the time. And I called a friend that had caddied for me in the past, is a friend of a friend. And I called him and I said, can you connect me with 3 people that you find are very, very successful? And he connected me with 3 people. And one of those 3 people is who I'm now working for. He was the only person that we had a second conversation with. And he took a shot on me. And I had no experience in the field. And he said, I'll offer you the job. But the next question is, do you want to move to San Francisco? And I said, not really, but let's do this. And that was a little over 6 years ago now. I moved to San Francisco by myself. My wife was finishing up her master's degree. She soon then joined me in California, and we now have 2 kids. And the only reason we have 2 kids, or that we can afford to do that, is the career that I've built and developed over the last 6 years.
Awesome. It's an amazing career to have that time freedom as well as financial freedom. What's been the most valuable impact story from a client that's really, kept your motivation and kept you on the path of continuing to serve your clients at such a high level?
This actually happened very recently. I think it actually happened last week, where the tariffs were announced and the markets quickly reacted. And I had friends that, I talk to, but I'm getting texts every day. How's work going? You must be getting calls out the wazoo. And the first call I got, the client answered the phone and he said, thank you. And it was not what I was expecting, because the client that called me, if I could rank all of my clients from 1 to 100, who worries the most, it was this client. And instead of worrying and panicking, he said, thank you. And he explained why. And it was because we've been so intentional about putting him at ease, giving him and his wife peace of mind, knowing that where their money is invested, it's conservative and they don't need to worry. He's always been worried about running out of money, his wife outliving him. And so it's a testament to myself and my team for being extremely diligent in educating our clients, making sure they understand what we're doing. Because I'm a big believer in, if you don't understand what we're telling you or what we're recommending, you're not going to believe it, you're not going to buy into it, and it's going to cause worry, anxiety on the back end. And I actually got a second call on Monday of this week, someone else calling me and saying thank you. So I've gotten no calls asking what's going on, what do we do, what's the reaction here, but I've had 2 thank yous. And so that meant a lot for me, and it was a lot of validation for what we're doing is actually making a pretty big impact on our clients.
Yeah, 100%. What's the one thing you wish everyone, every client, every person on this planet knew about money?
Can't take it with you.
Say more.
Yep. People stress a lot about money, whether they have enough, am I making enough? What do I do with it? They're reluctant to make moves. And they also don't have this vision of what can I do with this money? It's all about how much can I make? And we have plans where the plans are wildly successful. I mean, there's not a worry in the world, but they're all about accumulating, but there's no plan or intentions with what are they going to do with the money. And we have clients that can make a really, really big impact on the world, on their community, but that's not their focus. Their focus is, are you doing a good job as an advisor? Am I making money? Comparing you to benchmarks, other advisors, where I would say, let's focus on what can we do with this money? And because when you're no longer here, it's meaningless. Whether it's to your kids or to charities or impacting your community, I think that should be more of a focus for advisors, but also for people as individuals.
Yeah, 100% agree. Man, let's think about, why do you continue to pour into yourself, take time away from your family and business, and invest in things, development opportunities like Rhino Boot Camp?
This is an easy one. I told you that I'm only 6 years into my career. I had no experience when I started in the business. And I quickly learned, and I'd heard this many, many years ago, never be the smartest person in the room. And I take that to heart to the core, where if I'm in a room and I feel like I'm the smartest person, which is very, very rare, I feel like I don't belong. And so coming to a space like this, I feel like I am the least smart person in the room, and I am perfectly comfortable with that. Because I've not always been the best listener, but when I'm in a setting like this, my vision of myself is a sponge, and I just want to soak in as much information, knowledge as possible in as short of a time as possible.
That's awesome. Last question I thought of. How have you parlayed your skills and what it took for you to become a professional golfer into this industry?
I think the work ethic is a big one. The internal drive to continue to succeed. When you're a professional golfer, and there's other athletes, tennis players, swimmers, you're by yourself. Yeah, there's some team aspects in all these sports, but in general, you're by yourself. You're practicing by yourself. You're thinking about, you're planning for your next tournament, match, whatever it might be, by yourself. And you have to find that motivation within inside of you. So I don't draw motivation from any external factors. Everything comes from internally, and that's what's continued to push me and drive me to become the best financial advisor I can be.